What's going on, everyone? Vampyr Gaming here, and I am joined by Reformed, the Reiju that made it into the finals, unfortunately losing the last round to Green Purple Luffy, but bringing all of our dreams to reality. The Reiju dream still lives on. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. It was a bit of a last unfortunate game, but that was extremely winnable. And I feel like Reiju is still very viable in this format.
Love that. Yeah, I mean the deck. Porsche Ichiji is just actually the Porch into playing Ichiji is actually the nastiest combo in the game. I don't think people realize how just good that is. But yeah, do you remember your matchups from the other day?
Yeah, so we played 9 Swiss, and in my first round I went against Shanks. Round 2 was Green Yellow Law. Round 3 was GP Luffy. Round 4 and 5 were Shanks again. Round 6 was another GP Luffy. Round 7 was Shanks. Round 8 was Bonney, and then the round 9 was the GP Luffy I lost to.
Got it. Amazing. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the deck here because I know you have some spice in here waiting for us.
Yeah, so to start us off, I have three Germa Kingdoms. Typically, people run four, but I prefer three just because it's a brick, and I really dislike seeing it in life. But I believe in every single one of my games, I was able to find Kingdom pretty early on, which was good.
Got it. So I know with the latest set we get Sanji, and Sanji's like a
Mm.
better searcher, right? He's not a brick like the old event was. Do you think that like three is just more preferable now that you have like Sanji and you can search that out just like the same, or you think like because a lot of people
Oh,
think like no
100%.
stage you lose.
Yeah, 100%. In before OP10 released, I was running four kingdoms. I was strict on that, but OP11 came around, or sorry,
OP
OP10 came
10,
around, gave me four Sanji searches, which I started running in the list, and it feels amazing. And I used to run four Sanji searches, four kingdoms, but I added in one Germa 66 event searcher, which really helps even out the chances of you finding the kingdom early on.
got it. Cool.
And then we have the typical 4 cost or 4/7 cost ETGs and 4/4 cost ETGs. This is you can't change it.
Oh, that card's
It's
busted.
way too good.
That
It's
card
so
is the
good.
deck.
And then we have the 4/4 cost Reijus, 2/2 cost Reijus. Those are also unnegotiable.
So let me
But
ask you about this,
yeah,
because for Reiju, you need to have less Don than your opponent, right?
correct.
Did you ever have issues resolving Reiju against Green Purple Luffy?
Not typically, but that's also because I'm playing hefty into Porsche and minus events. But green purple Luffy typically never goes down around under 5 Dawn.
Got it. Okay.
And yeah, so there's just no issue for resolving the effects until the late game when you're trying to go for game.
Got it. Okay.
And then we have four 2K searchables for Germa, the Sora card. She's a 2K counter, but she's also extremely playable in certain situations where you don't have a turn. I really like the having a Porsche in hand and a 7 cost Ichiji in hand, because then I can play out Ichiji for basically 4 Dawn with Sora, because I'll trash the 7 cost Ichiji, or even the Reiju. The Reiju combo to refill hand is really good too.
Yeah, that makes sense, because, like, it's card economy. I do know, like, to me, Sora is just 8 copies of Ichiji, because I've never seen anyone grab anything else back, but it really helps get that extended. It's literally just any card you want, though. It's your mouse
Yeah,
tool.
100%. Sora's really good, and I'm confused on whether or not to remove her in OP11. And then we get into the OP10 buff, which is the four 1 cost Sanji searches, which allow us to search top five of Germa or and search for a Germa card including himself, which is really, really good.
Yeah,
And so this
that's
helps find the kingdom itself.
got it.
And then I have the one of Germa 66 event just to even out the curve of having 3 stages. I will say it didn't see much play during the Treasure Cup, but I still do think it's a good card to have in.
Got it.
And then I also have a one of Cosette. She's searchable because she is Kingdom of Germa, and her effect, if you have two less total done than your opponent, she gains blocker. So it's a really good chump blocker against big decks like Shanks. and she was super helpful just throughout the entire Treasure Cup against all the Shanks matchups I got.
Got it. Yeah, one drops. That's a lot. What a lot of people are playing him for is the Shanks, and as Shanks, I mean, yeah, even if it's Marco, it's 5 Don for removal, which is still incredibly expensive. So you got 5 Don worth of a swing essentially for like 1 Don, which is just the value proposition is incredible right now.
It's extremely amazing into the Shanks matchup, but also she's been kind of weakened into GP just because of her prerequisite of having 2 or less Dawn. So
Yeah.
typically a GP player can turn her off, which is a bit unfortunate. And then we move into the bread and butter of the deck, which is Porsche, which is the Porsche into Ichiji combo, which is arguably one of the strongest combos in the game for 3 Dawn, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
I love Porsche. She's probably my favorite card in the deck, purely because she's able to play out anything that's 4K or less, purple. So she's able to play out the Black Maria too, which is just amazing for tempo. Getting out a 5K body and a Black Maria out for 3 Dawn is amazing. And then moving further into the Foxy package, we have 4 Tony Chopper blockers, whose on play is if I have equal or even Dawn, I get to add 1 rested for my Dawn deck. And he's amazing because he's a chump blocker too, but he also helps keep the tempo just in case you don't find that Black Maria, or you don't need Black Maria to regen like 3 or 4 Dawn. So Chopper is a very good card that will be staying until this deck dies, probably.
No, it makes sense. Makes sense.
And then we have some Foxy Pirate 2Ks. I have 2 Foxies and 1 Gina. The Gina is supposed to be a Foxy, but I couldn't find one, and I didn't really bother to. But Foxy has the ability to trash himself, and if you have equal or even Dawn, draw 1 card. And it's really good sometimes, but typically it's a super desperate play. But I did find myself in one situation playing him out to bump my hand down to 5, then using 2-cost Reiju, and then using Foxy, allowing me to go to 9 cards, which was insane.
Got it. I like that. That's pretty good.
And then we get into my favorite card, or yeah,
That card is
my
mean.
favorite card because it's just so much fun to use. And also the art is beautiful.
Oh,
Shout
that
out
card's
Peach Momocon.
so good.
4
So
Black
good.
Marias. 4 Black Marias. It's good in every situation. It's gonna be even better when Judge gets added back to the list in OP11. And she's just so much fun to play out and regen all my Dawn. It really just allows the entire deck to do what it wants. And then we have some events. The typical event that people see in Reiju list now are Gamma Knife. Gamma Knife, you -1 Dawn, -5K to one of your opponent's characters. This was extremely good into Shanks because you could just eat the 7K, 8K bodies really easily. In GP Luffy, it was good too, because in GP Luffy, you'll have a lot of 5K bodies that you really can't attach 1 Dawn to swing into a 6K leader. So turning them into bodies that can swing into Assange Pudding or Zoro is really, really good too.
Got it.
And then we have a bit of a weird tech pick that a lot of players don't agree with. We have double Red Rock, which 6 Dawn, just bottom deck. Everybody knows Red Rock, right? It's terrible against GP, but it was amazing against Shanks and was able to win me 2 of my matchups by denying 10-cost Shanks. And it's just really good because Gamma Knife only minuses 5K, so minusing 5K to a 12K body still makes it a 7K, and if they counter out, you lose so much tempo. So that's why I like the Red Rock pick, and I just think in the deck 2 is good. It also helps with the Blackbeard matchup. Fortunately, I was able to dodge Blackbeard, but I have found multiple situations where Red Rock has saved me and won me the game against a Blackbeard.
Got it. One thing I do, so like I
Yeah.
know typically Reiju runs pretty slim, especially since you're not playing Judge, and they usually only plan to go to 8 when they plan on making a Judge play and like going for game. How
Yeah.
often is it like Shank specifically? Do you go a little bit more Dawn heavy just to make sure that you can like Red Rock, or like how high of Dawn is it? Usually like you're like at 6 and you're gonna tap all 6 to use it.
Um, well, the only time I would tap 6 to remove 6 is when they play 10-cost Shanks.
Oh.
But typically, you don't want to use the entire turn. But also Black Maria is kind of a win con against Shanks. I feel like if
Yeah.
you're playing Dawn under, it's really hard just to get enough power to remove anything on his board. But also with Control Shanks coming like back into play because of GP Luffy, I do find this list getting a lot more results. Because I did go against 4 Shanks and was able to beat them. And I think later the same day, I went to Store Treasure Cup, which I 4-0'd in. I went against 2 Shankses where Red Rock did shine.
Got it. Cool.
And then my last 2 cards in the deck are 2 Gum Lightnings. Gum Lightning is a card that costs 2 Dawn, but you -2 Dawn, so it's a bit hefty on the Dawn removal. But you KO a character up to 6k power or less, and that works in really well with Ichiji, as it allows you to pop at 8k, and even so, it works really good with Gum Lightning, allowing you to pop an 11k, though I haven't gotten any play out of that just yet. But Gum Lightning is amazing. Remove 6k bodies, good against Zoro, and I would say it's probably a tech pick against GP Luffy. I think I had maybe 2 games out of my 3 GP Luffy games in the Treasure Cup where I was able to do the Ichiji combo to -2k to Assange Pudding and pop lightning it on curve, which really was really good for the tempo.
Got it. Amazing. Yeah, you were telling me about that, and I was like, wow, because like you can on 3 go Porsche into Ichiji, and then with the remaining 2 use that lightning, and then you still get to go to 4, so you can easily play out like a Reiju and just draw cards still, and you
Yeah.
like, of course, all that minus, you get that Don deficit. So, absolutely. Well, amazing. Let's go ahead. I do have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
So biggest thing, like, are there after this event, looking ahead, are there any changes you would make to the list?
For the EB-02 format, I wouldn't, partially because it's shorter than all the other formats, but also it did show results and it did feel good, but I also don't know specifically what could help with certain matchups into this format. Rob Lucci is fine because you kind of just rush him down. What else? What else? Or what other decks are also pretty prominent?
Yeah, I mean,
I,
like
most decks you have a pretty solid matchup into.
yeah, I mean, was Impact? He said that like right before this format, he thinks that Reiju was the best deck, and then also Roberto, because Impact went 8-0, but then he lost his last 2 playing
Yeah.
Reiju, and then Roberto, a guy from Italy, also was like very heavy on like for OP10 Reiju. He's like, this deck is actually really good, might be best deck.
OP10, it felt amazing. And I did see slightly into the EB-02 format, but EB-02 was banned in Barcelona. Reggie did top, I believe.
I believe
Or
that. I
was it
believe that.
second place? I think it was first place, right? I'm
It
not
might
sure.
have been. I think somebody did win an event with Reiju.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it definitely topped. I've seen it. I don't remember which event, but yeah, no. I mean, I get it. Like, cause Ichiji's a really good card, and it's
Yeah.
like the ultimate. You pay. It's a 3 cost 7k rusher. That you can play out, which is just insane. So I get it, and plus like Shanks folds to real aggro decks. I actually, funny enough, I played against one, but they played Judge, and I did not know about Judge's second effect. No matter how many times I
Yeah.
played against Reiju, and they just rested my Dawn, and I just lost. I was
Oh,
like,
Judge is
bro.
100% a sleeper card. It is amazing against Bonney and any purple straw hat, but I will say against GP, it's extremely hard to get out because you're never really gonna reach that 8 Dawn turn.
I get it. Yeah, that makes sense. Also, I noticed you don't have Niji. Was there any like were you? Was there any reason for like is he just not worth it right now?
I don't believe he's worth it right now, but I do see his value into the future. OP11, we're running a hybrid Judge list, and or because it's really, really good into UP Luffy, so
Mm-hmm.
OP11 Reiju will probably be a really good deck into format. But he's not really worth it if you're not running Judge. He does have value against GP Luffy, just being able to bounce that Zoro off board, giving him another brick into hand, and also just removing a body off board. But he's just not great right now.
Got it. No,
But his stat line is amazing.
that's fair. Also, no pudding. Like I know it's not like super common, but it's like green purple kind of likes to take the first 2 hits. Did you consider pudding at all?
I considered putting, early into the EB-02 format, but I just didn't see it as worth it because you're tapping basically all your Dawn against GP Luffy. Because you never want to be over 4 Dawn, because if you're at 4 or less Dawn during their turn, you hard deny SEC Luffy rush, which is good, because that card does crush this matchup. But typically you never have enough Dawn to tap 4, play Pudding, and then just pass, because you can't attach any of your Dawn to your bodies and swing into a 6K leader, you know?
Got it. And then so like against GP in general, the strategy is pretty much stay really low on Don and just minus as much as you can, like continually like just like using these effects, stay low so way one it turns off their effects, but two it keeps your effects active.
Yeah, so typically against GP early on, you want to sit at 4 Dawn or less when you pass into their turn. So they deny SEC Luffy, you deny Pudding Draw, which is really good because they need that for tempo. But also, what I found during the Treasure Cup to be really good is actually Black Maria. Because a lot of the times with effects like Gum Gum Lightning and Porsche Ichiji, I'll find myself putting myself to 2 Dawn instead of 4, which makes my next turn just absolutely nothing. But Black Maria allowing me to go back to 4 and have that 6 Dawn for the next turn was extremely helpful. And even at the end of games, if you're healthy enough to know that they can't go for game even if they throw down that Luffy, you can use Black Maria to catch up into Dawn just to have more Dawn to swing into game. So she's extremely good into that matchup, which I didn't believe early into the EB-02 format. I thought she was just a 2K counter, but she proved her worth in the Treasure Cup.
Got it. Love that. Well, so then, whenever you're starting your games, what are we typically mulling for? What is your what are the hands you want to see? Like, what are the cards you want to start off with each game?
Uh, Combo pieces like 7 cost Ichiji, 4 cost Ichiji, or like a hard combo like 2 cost Reiju, 4 cost Reiju. Obviously, Kingdom. Kingdom and a brick in hand is always really fun because you can just play the Kingdom, mill the brick. Uh, Deck or hands typically that are solid are like a 4 cost Reiju or a 7 cost Ichiji and any of your searchers like these. Because this allows you to search for Kingdom and have a brick in hand to mull for a combo or early combo, which was extremely helpful. A lot of the times it was a searcher and a 4 cost Reiju or 2 cost Reiju, so it makes it easy for what your next target wants to be, which is just the other half of the combo so you can play it in a future turn. Um, Depends on certain matchups. Against GP, I'm looking for Porsche Ichiji or Lightning Ichiji just to have that early removal. Um, but typically what you want is just combos that you can play out early or you have a future turn prepared already. So like if you don't have a turn 1 or turn 2 play, typically you want to mull that. You never want to keep those hands.
Got it. Cool. And then what is the typical early game look like? What is like when you're starting off? What are the curves we want to play? Like what's ideal early turns looking like?
Typically you want to take second. Taking second from Shanks feels really good, but turn if you take second, you are given the ability to do 2 cost Reiju and 4 cost Reiju in the same turn, which is a bit off because it does cost 2 cards, but it puts you to 6, declares an early body, allows you to draw. So if you're really lucky, you can draw Porsche into Black Maria for the next turn, or Porsche into Ichiji. I really like having a searcher on my first turn if I don't have Kingdom. And if I have Kingdom, that's almost always a keep, especially since you're running 3. That's almost a hyper keep into your own hand. I kept the hand with 4 bricks because it had 1 Kingdom in it, and I knew I could just mill out the bricks. But
It makes
yeah,
sense. Yeah.
Kingdom is a really, really good card, especially for this deck specifically, where you have bricks like 7 cost Ichiji who you never want to play unless you're playing 4 cost Ichiji. But Searcher is early game. Porsche is good early game if you have another piece with it. So if you have 2 cost Chopper, that's really good because then you get your Dawn back, but you also put up a jump blocker, a body that can swing, and you draw and search. So that's really, really good for her curve. But typically you want to find Kingdom and a half piece or a full piece combo with the Reiju or EGGs.
Got it. Cool. Well, thank you so much for
Yeah.
taking the time. Do you have any shout outs?
Um, Not in particular. I guess shout out my brother for introducing me to this game because I started playing, I think, around PRB release because Reiju was so cheap. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, why not?
Makes sense. Well, shout out,
Yeah,
shout out to brother. Love that. Well, thank you so much. Congrats again.
no problem. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, absolutely.